Your intuition is always communicating with you, but the question is, are you listening? The problem is that in this society, we've been conditioned and programmed to not listen to our intuition, to not trust our inner senses, to not trust that inner knower that's always here to guide us to the best places possible. And often that leads to unnecessary suffering because we're not in tune with ourselves, we're not in tune with our inner voice. But it's the best indicator for making the right decisions. It's the best indicator to make big decisions as well. Because if you're in tune with your higher self, if you're in tune with your intuition, if you're in tune with God, so to say, then you will make the best decisions possible. Because there's a saying that God communicates through your intuition and your intuition communicates through your body. So you have to become aware of those signals, those senses your body is sending you. And if you keep ignoring them, then it often leads to unnecessary suffering. But if you follow them, they lead you to the best places possible. They send you the right people. They give you the right conditions. And the more you trust it, the more you strengthen this relationship with this aspect of yourself, with your inner knower. And then you get into this flow where things often don't make logical sense, but you're like, okay, it doesn't make sense to me right now, but I trust it. I trust that it's gonna work out. And if you trust that, if you step into that uncertainty and let go of fear and let go of your logical analysis and just trust the path, beautiful things start to unfold for you, and you're in awe with life and just surprised by what's gonna happen. And in this video, I want to talk to you about how to strengthen your intuition, how to strengthen the connection to your intuition, to that inner aspect of yourself, and how to understand the signals it's sending you. At least from my experience, you have to find out how it's communicating with you. Like, everyone has their own way of communicating with their intuition, or a better way to frame it, everyone's intuition has their own way to communicate with them. But I'm going to share with you what I've learned from my experience. But I'm sure you know that feeling when you walk inside of a room and you just sense that something is off. And often that your inner voice is telling you, hey, let's leave, you know. And I'm sure you had moments where you didn't leave and you just stayed there and something bad happened, or something, the evening or the day was just, the time that you spent there was just like, it just felt like a waste of time, right? It's because in worst case scenarios, it can really lead to bad situations where you really regret that you've been there. Most of the time you will regret that you've been there, that you didn't listen to your impulse to leave. But in worst case scenarios, it can really lead you to suffering and to bad situations that can even cause harm. I've once been in almost in the midst of a terrorist attack and that was around 2020 in Vienna. And before I left my house, I already sensed that something is off, because I was about to meet my friends in the central and in the city, and I didn't know why, but something told me I don't want to go there. Like, it was a strange feeling. But then I thought to myself, man, I already arranged this. Let me still step outside and go there. And later on, we arrived at the restaurant. I wanted to collect some money from the ATM. So I went out, went around. There was like this big street. And I went around the corner, collected the money. And as I was on the street, I really sensed something is off. I really sensed something is strange. And as I collected the money and walked back around the corner, I had a big SWAT team standing in front of me with big guns screaming, "Get off the street! There's a terrorist attack!" And I was like, whoa, what did I get myself into? And I just trusted that I'm guided and I'm protected. I even affirmed I'm guided and protected, and the door will open up for me. A door will open up for me. And literally a few seconds later, there was a door that opened up, and some people just told us to come in there. And then it's a long story, but we then wasn't in some back room where we didn't know where we were at all. And then somebody came through another door, and they told us that we can go up. And then we were in like a luxurious, fancy restaurant, and the waiters then told us that we need to leave. I was with around 20 people, and some of those people left immediately. But my intuition and also my logical sense at that point said, like, hey, I'm not leaving. Like, there's a terrorist attack out there. I'm not leaving. And then I was with two women. One was around 18 and one was 40, and we were allowed to stay at that restaurant, which should be self-explanatory anyways. And then everything settled down, and luckily nothing big happened. But on that day, I really felt how I'm divinely protected and how I'm divinely guided. And I also started to trust my intuition more. Now when I sense that I'm not supposed to go there, or when something tells me like I'm not supposed to go somewhere, I listen to that and I honor that, because I know there's a part of me that knows more than I do. And if I don't trust that part, I can get myself into dangerous situations like these. I mean, it wasn't, I'm not traumatized or anything, because I don't know, I just saw it as a part of my life experience, and luckily I wasn't one of those who were really in front of the shooters and stuff, but it was like really close to me. And I just knew that which guided me after I went out there was here to protect me. And it's here to protect all of us, but we have to listen to it. And it's here to guide us, but we have to trust it. If I wouldn't have trusted, if I maybe just ignored my intuition to say and allowed myself to be fearful and not be willing to communicate with the waiters and just left like the other people went out, maybe something worse would have happened, And I know this might sound strange to you. You might think to yourself, well, yeah, it's a coincidence. It could be, but I just knew, like, for me personally, that I was divinely guided during that phase, during that moment when this happened. But it's just my personal story to add to that feeling when you sense that something is off, when you sense that you're not supposed to go somewhere, or when you are somewhere and it tells you to leave. Trust it, because in the worst case scenarios, it can really lead you to dangerous situations and can get you into harm, But your intuition is not just that. It's not just an indicator for you to go somewhere or to not go somewhere. It's also a great way to make decisions, especially big decisions, because a lot of times you have to make decisions in your life. You have to decide which path to take, and sometimes you desire something, but there's a strange feeling inside of you that tells you, hey, I don't know if I really want this. Although logically you say, okay, this is my path. I could get a lot of money there. I could get a lot of recognition there. But something inside of you might tell you, hey, this is not for you. And there's something I've created, or it's sure there's somebody out there who probably has a similar approach to it, but I call it the body compass. And how you can really be aware of how you make decisions and what the right decisions are for you, and what your intuition or the higher aspect of yourself wants for you, is to pay attention to how your body reacts, especially in the area of your chest and your stomach. When you ask a question, and for example, or you affirm something, you say, I'm going to do this, and you affirm it like this. Let's say I'm going to move to the Netherlands. Or strange example is just what came through right now. But you pay attention to how it feels in your body. Maybe your body says yes, like let's go there. And say your inner voice says yes, let's go there. Then it's like full alignment. But maybe you want it logically, but something inside of you tells you like, I don't know. And maybe you feel a contraction in your body. When there's a contraction, usually it's a no. When there's an expansion, when there's an openness, especially in your chest and your stomach, it's usually a sign that it's for you. But when you feel that contraction, when you have this sense of no, like something is resisting, you can then even investigate further, because sometimes what's in the way is our ego and our fears. Maybe you're afraid of the judgment. Maybe you're afraid of the responsibilities that come along with this path. Maybe you're afraid of being threatened or whatever. Like, we have different fears, and these fears are often not real. Those are just false narratives that we have accepted, or that are subconsciously running our shows. So if there was this contraction in the first place and to begin with, you can go even deeper and ask yourself, okay, if I would be living this out, imagine yourself being there already. Imagine yourself living this reality out already. You can then imagine yourself, or in your imagination, remove the judgment, remove the fear of the responsibility. Assume that the responsibility will be easy. Assume that you will be celebrated. Assume that you're gonna enjoy this. Okay, just assume it in your imagination. And if it then opens up, if your body then relaxes, if that contraction turns into an openness, that's usually a sign that it's for you, but that there's just a fear or an old part of you that wants to protect you and keep you where you are, because that's completely normal when you make big changes. But if that contraction still remains, or you still have this inner voice telling you, no, this is not for you, this is not for me, then trust it, because it's telling you that this is not a path that's aligned for you. It's telling you that this is not meant for you, and that this is not what your soul truly wants. Or maybe it's not time for you yet, because sometimes you also have to grow into something energetically. Maybe sometimes you're asking for something so big that you can't sustain right now, and your intuition is then telling you, hey, this is not the right time yet. You still have to go through a couple of things. You still have to grow. You still have to expand. So chill out a bit, you know? And the more you do this, the more you ask questions and listen to how your body acts, how your body reacts, how your body is communicating with you, contraction, expansion. If you pay more attention to that, the stronger you build this relationship with your intuition, and the more you will make decisions that are really aligned with your soul. And the more you will also be protected from decisions that are not meant for you, or paths that are not meant for you, paths that just waste your time, paths that are not for your highest good. I mean, sometimes we still walk down these paths, and even there is no right or wrong path. But even if you go down the wrong path, it can teach you a valuable lesson, or it just is a confirmation that you should have trusted your intuition in the first place, you know? But the more you ask questions, the more you pay attention to how you feel, the more you become aware of your intuition and how it's communicating with you. And another great way to do it is, and not even in a religious sense, is to just call on the higher aspect of yourself. Whether you call it God, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, whatever, you can name it whatever you want to. The universe. Just speak to the universe and ask it for guidance. There's a great affirmation I use daily that goes like this: today I make no decisions alone, instead I make all decisions with God. Or I make no decisions alone today, instead I make all decisions with God. Because again, there's a higher aspect of you that's all-knowing, all-powerful, and unlimited. And if you connect to that higher aspect, it's here to guide you. But you have to open yourself up to the guidance. And when you call on it, it's coming through. And you then just got to pay attention to how it's presenting itself to you, you know? And also, before you make decisions in day-to-day life, just pause for a moment. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what would my higher self do now? How would my higher self react in this moment? How would God act in this moment? Is this aligned or is this misaligned with my higher self? When you make these pauses consistently, you teach yourself to, again, listen to your inner impulses, listen to how your body reacts, and then you get this guidance, and this guidance then helps you to make big and those tiny decisions, because those tiny decisions also lead to big results, or big decisions as well. So the more you pause and the more you just take a moment to reflect, the more you become aware of your inner knower. I like to call it the inner knower. The more you become aware of what your inner self is telling you. And then you can make decisions from a calm and grounded state. And from a calm and grounded state, you make the best decisions. Because if you're constantly rushing, if you're stressing, if you constantly try to get somewhere and forget to be here, then you, most of the time, just come up with bad things, right? Like almost nothing good comes out of a rushed state. I mean, you know, we all been there, but and we might be there sometimes, which is completely normal. It's okay. But the more you practice this, the more you learn to stay in this grounded state, and from that state, everything flows better. And also just being still, practicing stillness throughout the day. especially in the morning time, to just ground yourself in the moment, to just ground yourself in your body, ground yourself in yourself before you start your day out in everyone else's lives, on social media, scrolling through Instagram, checking stories and everything. Start your day in your life, start your day in your experience. Just ask yourself, what am I feeling? Where am I? And make sure that you stay centered, because if you center yourself in the beginning of the day, it's easier to stay centered throughout the day. But even throughout the day, take moments to just be still, because even in the Bible it says, be still and know that I'm God. And in stillness, you know God. And there's even in another religion, I forgot where it is, it's not the Bible, they say that stillness is the language of God, the only language of God, or the universe, whatever name you want to give it. And when you move into stillness, when you are in stillness, you will hear your intuition the loudest. That's where you hear it the clearest, because your intuition is always whispering to you, But if you're constantly in a noisy state, if you're constantly enshrouded in noise, you can't hear it. So just give yourself moments to be still inside throughout the day. When you notice that you're stressed, when you notice that you're rushed, come back to yourself. Take a moment, sit down, close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths, or just even with open eyes, just sit there and breathe deeply and observe where you are. And just ask yourself, where am I? What am I feeling? What is this leading me towards? What is the best decision? How would my higher self act right now? And the more you ask those questions in stillness, the better you strengthen the relationship with your intuition and with your inner guide. And the more you do this, the more you live the life that you are here to live, the more you live in alignment with your soul's calling. And that's what it's ultimately about, that you live the life that you came here to live, that you so want to live for you. Because so many people just follow paths that are not aligned with them, to impress their parents, to impress society, to prove something to the world, to boost their ego, to portray themselves as something, just to be seen as special. But you're already special the way you are, and you're already whole and complete as you are. And when you are showing up as your authentic self, you can have everything that you might think you only can get with this forced path. You can have abundance, you can have happiness, you can have joy, you can have a loving relationship. You don't have to be anything but yourself, because if you're not yourself, you're inauthentic, and then you will attract inauthentic things, because then you're going to attract things that might look good on the outside, but you're still going to feel empty inside. But if you follow your soul's calling, and if you follow that which you know you're supposed to follow, if you walk the path that you know is right for you in your heart, that's when you experience the mystery. And like it says in the Tao Te Ching, in the first verse, the mystery is the doorway to all understanding. And when you embrace the mystery, life becomes magical and beautiful, and every day becomes a miracle. And you realize that you are a miracle in this human body. And it's just a magical way. So connect to your intuition and trust that it will lead you to the best places possible, because it always does. And if you listen to it, it will send you to the best places. It will send you the right people. It will send you the right conditions, and everything you need for your fulfillment will be given. If you don't listen, you will learn a lesson. And hopefully this lesson will then lead you back to your intuition and to your inner know. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know how you feel about this in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you have any other topics you want me to talk about. And also, the exercise I mentioned, the body compass, is part of something I've created called the 7-Day Alchemy Method. It's a 7-day framework I've put together to help people to release their emotional blocks, to break out of limiting patterns, and to step into creative flow so that they can use their unique gifts, their unique expression, and start showing up in the world with that. Because I feel that we all have something unique, something powerful that we can share with the world. And often we have a vision, but what gets in the way is the internal blocks that we have. And that 7-day framework, if that speaks to you, I trust that the 7-day framework will help you. You can get that in the link in the description or in the bio. And I thank you for your time. I thank you for listening. I wish you all the best. And again, trust that inner knower, because that inner knower is always here to guide you. I am Law Haru, and this is the way of law.